All right, well, we've got Dr. Rich Blana here of drrichblana.com. And tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do first.
Well, I'm a retired college professor and been trying to make the transition into becoming an infopreneur. Basically, that's somebody, as I understand it from my business coach, who sells content, books, training courses, things like that. And I've been making that transition for about 3 years now and working with Mandy and the group for the past year.
Very nice. Well, it's nice that your intention there was to make some income while you're out. You're always out on the beach and you're out running. And
what I'm trying to do is integrate my new part-time retired career into my overall lifestyle. And that's something that's probably been the greatest challenge for me this year, is just figuring out not only what I want to do, but how to really balance it with the life that I'm living, which I really enjoy. And as you said, spend a lot of time on the beach and in my kayak and doing fun things in Southwest Florida.
Well, I wanted to ask you just a couple of questions.
Sure.
Before we met, tell me a little bit get them familiar with what your business looked like.
Okay. I've written several textbooks and taught different classes based on those textbooks. And one of my areas is stress management. I've always felt that my content, my books, my classes were really, good, high end, and that I would love someday to teach them to adults. Because, you talk to somebody and you say, what do you do? And I say, well, I'm the stress expert. And they say, oh, stress, everybody is under stress. And, you should do something for us. So I said, yeah, that's actually what I'd like to do. And it's just so much fun working with adults who are in the real world. And I really like working with midlife people, people who are struggling to earn a living, plan for their retirement, take care of their kids, take care of their aging parents, and their lives are filled with stress. So I pretty much took a lot of my content and made it into usable courses for adults, struggling with this part of their life.
Cool. All right, now, and you came to me because we originally did my sales funnel magic bullet class.
You were a good saleswoman.
I upsold you into the EYI program from there.
Actually, I took one of your classes, and it was one of the magic bullets, and I was really impressed with the value, to be honest with you. I think I got more from that one course value-wise than I had gotten from my previous year's worth of coaching with my business coach. And I had, my greatest challenge was getting out of the mindset of an academic and into the mindset of an entrepreneur. And over the past year, I've had to struggle with two things. One is learning really what it means conceptually to be an entrepreneur and, someone involved in e-commerce. And then also learn the skills involved in that. So I'll give you an example. I'm a rate professor. I made who's who among college professors in three separate decades. So I know I'm a good teacher. But teaching in a college classroom where you have someone for an hour and a half, twice a week for 16 weeks is so different than getting someone for 30 minutes, whenever they want to log on.
Right.
So I just had to understand that it's a different person and it's got to be a different approach.
And they're buying differently. Like you're getting the clients from Facebook or you're doing LinkedIn, and so they're not having to do this so they can get this bigger degree. They're just doing this because they want to change their lives.
And one of the things that you taught me was it's about them. What's in it for them versus how great I am and my great content. And I remember my website initially was, well, Dr. Rich this, Dr. Rich that. And so there's all this wonderful content about me and my stuff and not really much about what's in it for them. So someone would go on my site and I wasn't approaching it from what's your problem and what's the solution I could come up with. So understanding that and then putting that into actual sales language, into blogs, into all the stuff you need to attract clients. It's been fascinating. It's been an interesting journey. And honestly, I'm in it for the journey. I am a lifelong learner, and although I retired from full-time teaching, I haven't retired from full-time learning. So I've kind of enjoyed the process, even though I'm at a different point in my life than you guys are in the group, and I have a different focus for my business. Still, the learning part's been fabulous.
Yeah, cool. Well, talk to us about, and I want to highlight some of your successes. So you have been able to, in building out sales funnels, you have blogs that lead to webinars that are recorded, and
Sure.
those have sold products.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've gotten people that want to work with me, that want to coach with me. And, I told them I'm really not doing coaching anymore. I really want to do mostly online teaching and training. And so I'm still kind of finding, that mix of products I want to offer. But yeah, I actually went from not even understanding e-commerce to be able to build out my own website, create sales pages, go in, create email marketing lists, attach those to blogs, have the blogs upsell to webinars, and have the webinars drive people back for higher end products. So that whole mix is something that I didn't even knew existed a year ago, and now I'm at the point where I can create that stuff. So it's pretty empowering.
Cool. And so you guys can see inside the Expand Your Impact Facebook group Rich's videos, and he shows you guys some of those to get feedback and interest in there, and that also will let you see his sales funnel in action. So make sure you guys check that out.
And it's still a work in progress. No, seriously, it's for those of you who are just
sales
starting out.
Sales funnels are always a work in progress.
Just kind of writing a blog, and then before I hit the send button and post, saying, all right, is it about what's in it for them and not about you and your great content? So it's something that I'm still struggling with every time I write something. I double check it and I make sure that it's really driven by what consumers want, what they need.
Yeah. So you had mentioned before that you had worked with other coaches in the past. And I know you were very academic in your researching of working with me. So talk about the fears that you felt when it was, oh, wow, she wants, this is somebody who can help me, and I don't know who this is.
It was, I had worked with 4 previous business coaches, and I think each one of them taught me something, and honestly, when I started, I didn't even know what I didn't know. So, I was just out there struggling. And I actually came to you specifically because I wanted to learn social marketing. I wanted to learn how to use Facebook and LinkedIn and all that, even though I had already worked with coaches on that. But I really thought that you were the most concrete. That, I looked at your magic bullet and I looked at what you had to offer and heard your webinar. I just felt that I could really work with you. But I was still hesitant. I said, I'm going to pop down X amount of dollars to work with this lady. When I've done that, been there, got screwed. Do I really want to go through this again? And so you had to kind of draw me in, as you well know. But it's so my biggest fear was spending the money to maybe just not get what I was looking for. And I really, me, I was looking for very technical, hands-on, concrete kinds of things rather than the conceptual. I was kind of beyond the conceptual.
Yeah. And we love having you in the group because you do bring us those technical questions. And it's important, like, you've got to know how to place a Facebook pixel, and you've got to understand what all that means. You got to connect the email program to the landing pages, and all of that's very important. So
I think you have to know it just to talk to people about it. For instance, I may not want to do this forever and ever. Mm-hmm. I may want to farm out some of this. So to be able to talk to a virtual assistant, person who might want to take some of that over, I need to be able to express what is it that I want her to do that I don't really want to do.
I heard you talking about that this morning. You said you didn't know what to ask for, and now you feel confident in being able to say, create a landing page, make sure it touches the opt-in, and you can test it to know that they did it right.
I'm having problems with my upsell page. Why isn't when somebody clicks on this, it's not taking them to where they need to get to? I didn't even understand that last year.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say is the biggest, we wrote these questions down here so we wouldn't forget. What was the biggest transformation you've had since working with me?
Really beginning to think like a business person, an e-commerce person, and to kind of get out of the academic mindset finally. And I never am going to lose that because I still think it all starts with good content. To me, there's a lot of garbage on the internet, and anybody can put up a web page and say, I'm a meditation expert, do this without having any background or training or experience. So I've got that, and so I feel that part of it is good. But to be able to take that and make that content available and usable and get it in front of people so they can consume it is the biggest transformation, knowing how to do that, why that's important, and also to feel that you're not... I always felt that I would cheapen my content by writing this glitzy sales copy that would get people to view it, And then I finally understand that sales copy is just a different animal. You know, you want to get people's attention and get them to your web page so they can consume the good stuff. So
Yeah,
that's
they can't
probably
work with you if they don't buy.
Right. So that's probably the biggest transformation.
Very cool. And what would you tell somebody if they were thinking about working or being part of the Expand Your Impact group in this community?
Well, I'd say they definitely would get the support that they needed to be successful, whether it's technical support or emotional support. I mean, people in the group, you know, if you have issues and you're struggling, you're not ashamed or embarrassed to say, Jesus, I have no clue what I'm doing. You know, where do I start? So I think that is the biggest thing. I think at this point I probably feel secure enough to kind of go out and try and do some of this stuff on my own. But I think the group and you and Ron and everybody have been just so supportive and nurturing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we love having you part of the group.
Well, thank
And
you.
we love watching you grow. So thank you very much.